Right. Next up on the list is our available products checklist. And this might not be what you're thinking. It's not kind of what's available in terms of being sold out or not. It's having enough of a catalog where someone can come back and buy another product from you if they wanted to. Um, so not like a single purchase. And you see a lot about this in diversification with one big purchase. Mattress companies are an interesting one where they'll have one big purchase and then they'll try to sell you a bunch of other stuff like sheets and other products like that. But you're really there for one thing. So repeat customers are kind of the bread and butter of all direct to consumer companies right now. If you do not have repeat customers, you are going to go under because the cost of acquiring a customer is usually a lot higher than sometimes the profit that you're making on the initial purchase, which puts you into a bit of a rough situation where you require the quality of your product to stand the test of time and people to come back and purchase multiple things from you. So uh, the brand should have enough products for multiple purchases. That means that there's enough of different varieties that someone can purchase a couple of something, or you would be one product that you would purchase multiple of. Differentiate between their product lines. Super important to do this. List what's in stock, variants for all available products, and bundles are available. There's kind of like a combination of everything that's going on here in terms of making sure that you can kind of figure out how to sell more. Difference between product lines is really important, and it we don't have a lot of contextual comparison between different product lines. And I think this is something that I continually see across most e-commerce sites where they'll have three versions of shorts, like we covered a little bit earlier, but they don't have contextual comparison between all of them. As a result, it makes it a little bit difficult to understand the actual differences between the product lines, why they should exist, or what the pricing differences are for that matter, because sometimes the materials are the exact same with different prices. Gets a little kooky, gets a little strange. Um, what's in stock, making sure that that's pretty self-explanatory. Just make sure you know what's there, what's not, and when it's coming back. If it's coming back, let people know how they can find out when it does come back if they want to wait for it. What bundles are available? Sometimes this is hidden, and a lot of pages don't have bundles, which is kind of weird. To me, I think that the idea of individual sales on products is interesting, but you should always promote people to buy more at the same time. And that's not AOV related, but it's more product in hand. I see a transition happening even on platform like Shopify and their bundles app and automatic discounts, where we're moving towards a buy more, save more kind of mentality that gamifies that experience. And I see that kind of moving in that direction that I like. I like the idea that if I'm shopping online, I got to pay for shipping and I got to pay for everything else. The more I purchase, the more I should save. Um, I don't see a way outside of this. I think that with profit margins the way they are and everything else, that it's a great way to compete with something like Amazon or any of the other marketplaces you have if you have incentives for people to buy in bulk directly from you. Um, that said, I do see this transition happening in the next 6 months or so, where you are going to incentivize people to buy multiple products. It's something we've been testing internally now for a little over a month and a half, and the results have been pretty much outstanding. And we're not going to go back after doing it. So, are there enough products to promote multiple purchases? Is there enough variety to cause a second purchase? Are there add-on products or complementary products available? What's it look like for you? Are you one and done? Do you buy multiple of the same thing? Can you combine that with other products that you're selling? Like, how does that work out? What does that customer journey look like? Where, oh, you need that, but you really want to add this and this and this and this, and if you add all three, you're going to get a sweet deal on it, right? Like that's kind of the mentality that most people, customer journey wise, look for. They want to be incentivized to explore new products and be incentivized to add new products to the cart. You, as the company, wants them to do the same thing, but you need to build in a system that makes sense. Are available product offerings differentiated enough? Um, are they differentiated enough from other products on the website? Are they differentiated enough against existing competitors or existing owned products? This is the persona argument from earlier, whether people have never experienced something before, they have something that's a competitor, they're looking for something different, or they have something that they're looking for an upgrade from. One of the three. Um, a lot of the times, this is super tough. You'll have a collection of different products, but it won't clearly list what the differences are. It doesn't tell you what the differences are. There might be subtle differences between a whole bunch of different things. It gets complicated. This happens a lot as a brand matures. They tend to release different versions of products, but they don't keep consistency amongst the entire line of products, and micro changes equal different experiences, and it's not good. I've been part of companies where I've witnessed this firsthand, where changes were made and things were made impossible to do or not even contemplated to do, and as a result, it led to a fractured experience amongst product lines. It gets dangerous when you do this. I continually have conversations with brands right now where we need to standardize, and then make subtle changes. And then, if we're going to make a large wholesale change, we need to have an end of life plan for the product. It's really important to have an end of life plan for the product, because if you are phasing something out, the last thing you want to do is have two products that look very similar, are charged roughly the same amount, but have different features on them. It's too confusing for most brands. And I'll show you why this is even a problem right now. So on this page, what we have, and this is a website that I help run and run marketing for. So this is like me throwing myself under the bus here. Um, we've got products with different features, but we have products with different features that are across different, that look very, very similar, that have very minor changes to them. And then we have different inseam lengths as well within the same product, just a different line. All these things get very confusing. We're working on working these out of what the current problems are as they were flagged. But when you're releasing new products and there's differentiated features that you're releasing, you need to be very clear about what you're doing, and you need to have a phased plan. Because for the founder and the business, it's always really, really clear what they're building and why they're building it, but it's not clear to customers why they would want it. I can reflect upon this in my other days. There was we were selling Wi-Fi controlled light bulbs, and there was a pitch to take one that only did series of whites and upgrade them via firmware update to color for a fee, because they were using the same internal hardware, so it's just different software, which happens fairly often for a lot of companies. They use the same software port, and then it's software limited, and that's why a different version exists. Um, the idea being, how do you differentiate between the two products? And it was just colors or non-colors, but the scale for the whites was different between different bulbs, and the lumens were different, or the brightness was different, so they didn't look quite the same, so they couldn't interchangeably be matched really closely because they used different source parts. Created a lot of confusion for a lot of people because they couldn't match the older products with the newer products. And as a result, when it comes to something like lighting, it's really tough if things don't match precisely, or at least give that off, especially with differences in brightness. It makes it very difficult to calibrate things between each other. So, like, that's an example of extreme in light, which you can see, but the same exists with different products. I have two jackets from one company. The first jacket is amazing. The second jacket I bought on sale, it's a completely different material, and it actually comes across as being a lot cheaper than the first one. Um, if you're gonna make a change between lines and you're gonna charge the same price, you gotta go into details to what's up. So, like, you gotta know how things are differentiated from one version to the next. You need to know how they change and how they compare to different competitors, because you know everyone's doing that competitive research anyway. And you got to give them a comparison as to what they're currently using, so that they know that there's something that's going to be better. Uh, are they available products in stock? Just make sure if something's available that you make it clear where it is. I think that's probably one of the hardest things for most people, is when they don't know if something's actually readily available. Um, is the product available in the required size or fit? Same goes for this. Know what your fit is, and know what's available in that, and know where a certain fit might be better for other things. If something's out of stock, give some alternatives. Products available in multiple variants. Is it easy to see the options? Are the options too complicated or too many? Is the browsing and sorting easy to understand? Or are there major differences between the variants? I see this a lot, and variants are like styles and colors and things like that, and they most brands do a pretty good job, but sometimes there's going to be some confusion between like how things actually work out between the variants. Sometimes there's material differences, specifically around things like t-shirts. If there's a heather, there's got to be like part polyester in there versus a solid, which is going to be like all cotton or could be all cotton, right? So understanding the difference between the way that variants look and the colors and the dyeing processes and the materials used are pretty important things. They usually kind of don't find their way into a lot of the way that people approach things, but these things do add up. So are there options easy to see? Do you show color by color by color by color? One of the comments that we have is we look at swatch, 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 yet sometimes we want to see color, 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 color across so that we can compare in between because sometimes they're very close in color. Um, is browsing and sorting easy to understand? Like, how do I pick and select? Do I have a three-way selector? Do I have multiple way selectors? Like if I'm looking at interval shorts, I mean, these are a complicated thing to select. I got to select multiple options. I got to select a color. I got to select a size. I got to select in liner. I got to select a bunch of stuff. So I got to select these guys. And then if I select the sizes, then certain sizes aren't available. Then I go no liner, and then lots of stuff isn't available. Then I go liner and stuff's available. There's too much confusion going on in what's available and not available. This is a common thing where uh, you order too much product and you don't know what you should be ordering and keep it in stock, and there's too many variables, and it makes it just a miserable experience. Popular things happen to that, but when that happens, it makes it really difficult to understand what's in my size and what's available, and how to switch between stuff and how to know what's available, and you kind of have to work in reverse for figuring out what matters. What's the difference between the variants? Understanding what the right one for you is. Are is it available in a different size? So if I want medium and it's 7 inch, more come available. If I want 9 inch, more come available with no liner. But if I want liner, I have different options. The 5 inch is available. This one's all available. The 9 inch, there's just different ways to go about looking at what that is. Are the products available in bulk or bundles? We've talked about this prior, where you need to make it obvious if things are bulk or bundles. And I discussed it earlier in this lesson. Like, I think everyone's going to move towards bundles. So I think that we're going to see a transition from products that are sold as single units where you just stack them and pay full price to products that are sold as single units. And the more that you stack, the bigger discount you get. Because we're sending out so many sales emails as is, I think having a sale all the time, but when you order multiple products, is probably going to be where people default to it. And that will actually smooth out those little valleys that we were talking about. Price things appropriately. Straight up. If you're giving 10% off, raise your prices 10% if you buy two. And raise your prices across everything, and you'll absorb the difference, and people will feel like they're getting a deal. They'll end up paying full price. Like, it's very, very easy to manipulate pricing in order to do this proper. Um, so just think about that. Next up for us is going to be our product checklist. And we'll go through things about the product.